My name's Tim Goski. I live in Saginaw, Texas, and it's an honor to be here. I'd like to recognize and honor each and every veteran here. I represent my guests, the Gold Star parents. I'm a two-timer. But I want to recognize you, the veteran from Vietnam, from the Korean War. It's great visiting with Leo. The Gulf War, World War II. My father-in-law was born and raised out here in Weatherford and served at the 2nd Infantry Division, landed D+1 in World War II, and ended up being a POW. And I guess the farm was outside of town here for a little bit, and they didn't know where he was for 5 months. You know, he was in Stalag 13. Got captured 2 days before the Battle of the Bulge. And as history would have it, my father's book, my father was in the 4th Armored Division, but Patton's son was also there. No, Eisenhower or Patton's son was also in Stalag 13. So they sent the 4th Armored Division, a little unit, on a suicide mission of 250 soldiers, half-tracks, some tanks, to break into that Stalag 13. And I don't know how far, it must have been 100 miles behind enemy lines, to try to rescue, I think it was Patton's son who was there. And Noble Peters from Weatherford, Texas, remembers that. He survived that, came out 88 pounds. And he was from Weatherford, Texas. And my father remembers that only a handful of the 250 soldiers from the 4th Armored Division came back. Again, the honor goes to you today. My story is simple. I had 2 sons, twins. They both joined right after 9/11. My niece worked in the Twin Towers when it was hit. My son Chris joined the Marine Corps 9/12. His brother had to wait about another 9 months to lose some weight. He wanted to join the Marines, but by then Chris told him, "Don't come to the Marine Corps. We don't get anything. Go to the Army. They got everything. That's where all the training is, the cool schools." So that's what he did. Chris went on to do 6 combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and out of Camp Lejeune, 2nd Anglico, and then he went to MARSOC. Mike served 2 combat year-long tours with the 10th Mountain Division, then went to Special Forces 5th Group up in Fort Campbell, did 3 to 4 more tours there. When Chris got back from his last time, he volunteered to go back for another tour with a commando unit that had 66% combat casualty rate. And they said no, and rightfully so, he was so banged up. Mike got out of the Army and joined a reserve group, National Guard Special Forces group out of Bragg that was newly formed in '16, and volunteered to go back to Iraq for his 6th or 7th tour. Before he could do that, Chris took his own life, my son in the Marine Corps. He volunteered to go back for his 7th tour. One night just was on his computer, went over about 15, the police said they had 15 videos of ceremonies of his buddies that he lost over the years. And he took his own life that night. No quit in him. He wanted to keep fighting and staying in the fight. Even after that, Mike stayed in the National Guard, volunteered to go back to Iraq. He just wanted to get back overseas to fight. Now, when they were younger, I didn't have much hope for this generation back before 9/11, to be honest with you, after looking at my kids. But boy, after that happened, they really came and answered the bell. They came to fight, and there was no quit in them. I stay in touch with a lot of those veterans that served with them. Some are still active duty, some aren't. been with him through the tough times and the good times. Hopefully and thankfully, some of the hard times are turning into better times for him. This is the first time since their passing that I've come to a Memorial Day service or Veterans Day service, since I'm a little shaky about all this. But I tell their story a lot, as much as I can. And I honor the veterans because I've seen what you've gone through. I saw what my parents went through. There is organizations out there for Gold Star families. You know, I'm part of them, and I see what they go through, the sacrifice of them, the marriages, the hard times with the children. The divorce rate is just astronomical because the guys are getting deployed all the time, and I see what they go through, the bodies being just beaten up, psychologically, mentally, physically, and yet they're not quitting. They want to go back. I just can't say enough about not just my sons, all the veterans, and I just want you to know that I love you all. I thank you and thank Tammy for inviting me here. I just wanted to give the honor to you today and let you know that regardless of what is going on in this country right now, the majority of Americans respect and honor the veterans because they know what you've done. And I just thank God for the opportunity today to come here, and I appreciate the prayer. I'm with you 100% on that. The only thing that's caused my wife and I to survive is the Lord Jesus Christ in our lives. It's the only thing. I could have gone away very easily, but God saved us and helped us through all these tough times, and for a reason, to help other veterans that we know. You know, my son's friends that are having hard times, man. So the answer is God, and I appreciate the opportunity to come here and thank you, each and every one of you, and for your service, and a heartfelt thanks. Appreciate it.